Rob G, you had a lot of numbers on the Thunder here, and you could probably paint the picture of just what they've put together. I mean, I just it's almost like hard to watch their games because they're so lopsided. It just doesn't even. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but
what you want me to do, Rob?
No,
beat everybody by 3?
No, I don't want them to. But I'm saying from a viewer standpoint,
No,
you know what I
what you're
mean.
saying.
I just
Yeah.
like every game's a blowout. Like I just be like, what? Okay, but they put together some impressive numbers this year, and it's hard not to argue that they arguably numbers wise. One of the best teams in the NBA ever.
Of all time.
Guys,
Ever.
I'm gonna read you some facts, and I'm gonna let you get in your feelings, okay?
Okay. All
So
right.
the Oklahoma
First of all,
City
you don't know
Thunder,
what we're going to do, Rob G. You don't know what we're going to do.
the OKC Thunder. First off, they got the MVP. SGA just won yesterday, first team All-NBA. They also have a third-team All-NBA guy on their roster, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, named third-team All-NBA today. Those are the two big guns, big stars on their team. During the regular season, we all knew this, OKC had the largest point differential in NBA history, 12.9. They had the best record any team has ever had against an opposing conference. They were 29-1. They broke the record for the most double-digit wins in a season.
Right, that's what this is what I was talking about the type of games and wins that
They
have.
had the fifth most wins total in a regular season at 68. Okay, that was in the regular season, but even still, I know you guys, I personally weren't real big believers in them coming into the playoffs, right? We all had other teams that we would have picked before OKC. In the postseason now, they have already outscored their opponents by 1,238 points. Okay, including the regular season and the postseason. That is the most by any team through 95 games of a season.
Any team
ever. After beating the Wolves in Game 2 by 15 points, they now have accumulated 60 wins this season by at least 15 points. That ties Steph, KD, Warriors for the most in NBA history, and they have at least 6 games to go, all right? And here's the last one. In the playoffs, of course, this number can go up and down, obviously. They got more games to play. They currently own the best point differential, plus 1,238 of any team in NBA history. Not just this decade, not just in the 2000s, ever. Guys, when you have a resume like that, here's the question. If they continue on this track, they win at the clip that they've been winning, nothing more, nothing less. They're just doing what they've always done this season. They win the championship. Will they be remembered as one of the greatest teams in NBA history?
This is simple. No way, no how. I don't even care. You can read numbers till the cows come home, Rob G. And I hear them. And they're impressive on paper. But when you look at the team, and other than SGA and maybe, you're like, okay, like who else? Seriously. Kelvin, I just wouldn't be able to endorse that this team is the greatest team in NBA history. I just could. I think has more to do with where we are and what kind of game that's played. You know what I mean? Like the style of play, which has helped them, of course, in threes and when you make threes and the kind of scores and all that. But I don't know. I don't have that feel for that team to think I'm watching the greatest team in NBA history. I don't. Do you?
Not at all, Rob Parker. And matter of fact, I'm going Professor Washington on y'all butts on this one here. And Rob G, stop killing me with analytics. All right, I don't want to take that for data. I don't want that right now. Let's talk about a few things on my checklist which would make you an iconic or a memorable team, all right? Number one, and they don't check any of these boxes. You got to have a star on your team who has a real nickname, not just some initials. Okay, SGA, that's easy. I need some nicknames up there. I need some Air Jordans up in there. Okay, I need a Hakeem the Dream up in there, okay? I need something. I need a Big Ben Wallace. You got to give me something.
He's from Canada. He wears soft, comfortable shoes. What do you want from him?
That's what he better give me something else, Rob, if he's trying to be what Rob G is trying to sell us on. Let me continue. You got to have also a team that has an identifier. What I mean is you got to be the bad boys. You got to be the Showtime Lakers. You got to be the Detroit basketball. You got to give me the Heatles. You got to give me something. They're just the Thunder. That's it. They're just the Thunder. There's nothing memorable about. Remember that one team? Whoa, the Thunder. Like what, huh? Usually great teams have some type of moniker, some type of name around them. All right? And then what Rob was saying, you got to have a Batman and a Robin. Okay, you got to have two great players. They have SGA and Jalen. I guess he's pretty good. You got to have a Shaq and Kobe, a Kareem and Magic, a Bird and McHale. You got to have something like that on your team. It's like McDonald's, right? They got the Big Mac. They ain't got no quarter pounder. Matter of fact, Rob, you know how you go there and they only got the 2 cheeseburger option meal. Like, I guess. But you came in for the Big Mac. You came in for the quarter pounder with cheese. They ain't even got it. And then also you have to have iconic moments. The problem is what Rob was saying. You can't just keep blowing everybody out. I need close games, close finishes. Robert Horry hit some big shots to push you to the next round. You got to have iconic moments, iconic wins. They don't have them. Or you have to at least beat an all-time great team, right? That will make you. You see that even in college basketball when Villanova beat Georgetown, when NC State beat Houston, right? You're like, oh, no way this can happen. When Dallas beat the Heatles with Dirk, you're like, no way they're beating them. So you have to have some iconic moments, some big games. You got to have big names on the team. You got to have a team that has an identifier, what you are, Showtime, Heatles, Bad Boys. They don't have any of that. They just got a bunch of really good basketball players that are deep, and you're like, they do line changes. Just 4 or 5 different guys come in. And they're great, and they're good basketball. They're probably going to win it all, but nothing will make it iconic or memorable.
And here's the other thing. They have another team in front of them that people would identify with or idolize even more, and they didn't win anything. Remember, the Thunder had 3 young players who all wound up going to win MVPs in Westbrook, Harden, and KD. They went to a finals. Let's not forget that. They did go to a final. They didn't win, but they went to the finals. And that's legendary that they had those 3 players there at one time. Think about it.
I completely agree.
Right? Like that team is more identifiable, more acclaimed, even though there's no championship. And obviously OKC hasn't won yet. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. But I think there's a team in front of them. I really do.
What it reminds me of? It reminds me of that OKC team being kind of like the Fab Five, where they never won anything, but iconic. You know them. You remember they did this. Remember they had this. Oh, man, what could have been? What could have been? And at least there's something. That's why the Fab Five still is so endeared. Like there's something there. You remember
they never won.
What never won and what could have been. And that Thunder team was like that. You had 3 future MVPs. You had this great team, 6 man of the year. And Harden or Westbrook is an all-star top 10 player at the time. And KD an MVP. You know, oh, man, what could have been? But at least, again, they had the Batman and the Robin. They even had another one, you know what I mean, in 6 man of the year. So you had so many things.
Harden was unbelievable that year.
Without a doubt.
Like I was like, who is this guy? Like off the bench.
Right. So that's a good pull there. They remind me of the Fab Five, and at least you still think about them, talk about them. Whereas this team, if they win this year, I don't know why you would bring it up in 15 years.
It could be a one-off. It really could be, and I know that's unfair because they've had such a great year, but I could see them being a one-off where, you know, everything kind of worked out and they play really well together and they won a championship, but they don't string any other, you know what I mean, any other champips. And happens
that's the
sometimes.
issue to me. That's the issue with this 7 years of a different champ. Everybody, parity. Man, that Bucks series was not memorable, right? This one could potentially not be. And you just kind of go down the line of what we had, and it's like, okay, you kind of need that star power. That you kind of need those rivalries to make it. Man, remember they beat that was crazy. That coming right now it's just they're buzzsawing everybody with a bunch of really nice guys who are not identifiable. They could walk in Walmart and you'd be like, I don't know, who is that? That's Isaac. Okay, that's that one. Yeah, that's Caruso. If Caruso put a hat on, you wouldn't even know him. So yeah, they're gonna have to have. They're going to have a couple crazy games in this Western Conference Finals. And then if they get to the finals, they're going to have a crazy finish with the Knicks or the Pacers, you know what I mean, where it became epic. Because as of right now, it's like, oh, yeah, the Thunder, that one Thunder team that won.
But Rob G, he's still on board with the Thunder. You got issues with us.
Yeah, and I was late to the party, admittedly.
No, I know. I've seen your Twitter.
Yeah, of course.
He's
Thank
all
you.
on
Thanks
it.
for following me, Rob. I appreciate it.
Do I follow you?
Yeah, Dub don't follow me.
Okay.
Dub does follow you.
What's funny is you guys are saying they're blowing everybody out, and that's the problem.
No, I'm just
It
like
is.
They're so good and that nothing's competitive, and because of that, I can't view them as a great team.
No, I know. It just feels weird. Like, Rob G, like, give me their big win that they had over somebody where you were like, well, how impressive. Because even the Game 7 against Denver was a blowout. So you didn't even have that moment where Shea, right, had to make a great shot.
So they're
Kelvin,
victims
you
of
know
their
what
own
I mean?
success, is what you're saying.
Like, seriously, though. But
Yeah, they are absolutely a victim of their own success because they're buzzsawing everybody. There's nothing compelling. Rob G, don't come in here with these stats and facts, and then don't forget the stat you just told us a couple days ago: 24% drop in the Western Conference Finals.
But at
there
some
you
point,
go.
yes.
That's an indictment of this team because
Nobody cares about them.
Right. When you're watching something that's so great and fantastic, you're like, I gotta watch them. Oh my God, this team is unbelievable, right? And you don't have that.
And I feel bad because they're exactly, if I'm an organization, I got a bunch of young, hungry dogs. They all love each other. After every interview, it could be one player, the other 10 are behind them, and they're exactly what you want. They come to work, they play hard-nosed, they play defense, they're all unselfish. But, man, go ahead and hit the snooze on my alarm clock. All
right, so let me put a bow on this then. So before we get to the calls, we've got a lot of calls want to weigh in on this. If this season ends like we expect, like we're saying before, They continue on this trend. They have the highest point differential, regular season, postseason. They win the championship. You guys don't think they're all-time greats. But if they come back the second year and they struggle, but they end up beating Luka Doncic in round 1, they beat Steph Curry in round 2, they beat who I don't know,
Don't say the Lakers.
Whatever. Okay, so they beat them, and then they go and beat I don't know, they bought with Cleveland. You know, they beat Donovan Mitchell, or they beat Giannis, whoever.
Right, I got you.
But they struggle. Every series is a grinded out. Every series is 6 games. There's no blowouts. You would be more impressed by that run than you have been by this.
Yes, because not only it would be twofold, that it wasn't a one-off, right? Because I even think, even though the Pistons didn't win the second year in 2005, them getting back to the finals, I think made people.
Good point.
Would you agree with me? Like,
good point.
Like this was a good team. It wasn't just Shaq and Kobe were fighting, because they went the next year
and almost took out that Spurs team who was really good.
And lost in game.
Yeah.
They went back to San Antonio, won a Game 6 after that heartbreaking loss, right, with Robert Horry. Mm-hmm. They won Game 6, forced to Game 7, and lost by 4 points or whatever it was, 4 or 5 points in Game 7 on the road. I think that would help them if they did a second year.
And I would argue even in losses that 2014 had epic losses. Like LeBron had to go crazy 25 straight. You know, they had battles with that Boston team. So you need those, Rob G, because they're endearing. If not, it's just this one random team that just came in out the blue and won something. You're like, oh, yeah, okay.